Let's get an expert voice on that. Manan Lahoti of Luthra joins in. Manan, we've discussed this before. The discussion paper that SEBI had put out and what it has announced today are very, very similar. I'll run you through the highlights again. An institutional trading platform in which tech-intensive companies can list, provided 25% of their pre-issue capital is allocated to bona fide institutions. For non-tech-intensive companies, it would have to be a 50% QIB allocation pre-issue. No bar on raising money for general corporate purposes, fewer pre-IPO and post-IPO disclosures. For instance, pre-IPO, you don't have to disclose the valuation rationale. You don't have to disclose all litigations, only material ones. And post-IPO disclosures, the SEBI chairman suggested that, of course, things like Clause 49 will not apply. There will be a lower compliance level, so to speak, a minimum investment limit of 10 lakh rupees and a post-issue lock-in of only 6 months. Does this sound like a promising start for startups?
I think it's a far better formulation than what we saw in the discussion paper. I think what will also be important to know is if SEBI does expect that the promoters will not hold more than 25% in these companies, because that was part of the discussion paper, and I don't think that was very helpful for a large number of companies.
Let me ask my colleague Sajid if he managed to get any clarification on that. Sajid, did SEBI make any reference to what the minimum promoter holding should be in these companies or should not be in that sense? Because in the discussion paper, they had said that we want non-promoter companies, ideally. We want companies where the promoter holds less than 25%.
The basic, I think, that if I'm not wrong, the discussion paper also talks about the fact that there will be relaxation which will be given under the takeover code. So that would be as well.
All right, sorry, we've lost Sajid there. But Manan, we don't have those details as yet, unfortunately, because the final regs in paper form are not yet up on the SEBI website. We only have what SEBI told us at that press conference, and those were just the broad details or the big picture, so to speak. But do you think this is a platform that, let's say, companies like Flipkart or Snapdeal would be able to use, or this is more a platform oriented towards far younger startups?
I think liquidity will be very important, and I don't think it gets built up sort of overnight in that sense. So I think over a period of time, of course, companies like Flipkart may be looking at this, but whether the first few transactions will be $1 billion or $2 billion transactions is, well, we still have to see. And what might help in taking off the process of companies listing on this one is if SEBI does not need to review and clear the offer document. Discussed that on your show as the last time, that for SME listings you would not require any SEBI clearance. And again here, if you're trying to keep retail investors out of this market, then again that is something SEBI can think of.
Well, I think I'm sorry, I think I missed the last part of what you were saying, but if you were talking about retail investors getting an opportunity to participate, that's off the table, Manan.
No, sorry, what I was saying is that retail investors will not be participating in this market.
Yes, they will not.
Much like in the market, then SEBI should not insist on reviewing and clearing the offer documents, because that will actually really help a lot of companies be able to list or rather use this market rather in a short period of time.
All right, that's great. I also want to bring to you, and we'll come back to this startup platform in just a bit, Manan, but a couple of other interesting announcements made, and I'll keep referring back to my colleague Sajid, and we also have Deven Choksi, a market expert, on the phone with us. The other announcements included declassification of promoters, guidelines on that issue, and the fact that now even companies with a market cap of 4,000 crore rupees onwards can avail of the fast-track issuance process. Manan, a quick word on the fast-track issuance process?
It's actually a great thing, really. I mean, come to think of it, it's been there for 7 years, but very few companies have been able to use it because it was really limited to very large companies who typically would not do a following public offering or even, for that matter, a rights offering. I think the entire idea was to test the waters to see how limited disclosures without SEBI clearance would work for the market. I think SEBI is somehow getting comfortable that, it should be open to a larger number of companies. And reducing the size of the cap or the market cap for eligibility for fast-track issues is a good step in that direction.
Okay, SEBI has also announced today that its T-2 notice period will stay with regards to OFS, or offer for sale, on the stock exchange platform. I missed some details that UK Sinha was sharing, so I'm going to refer to Sajid if he can supplement what we know about this. Sajid, if I remember correctly, this was a request that came in from the government, right?
Yeah, it came from the government, but you know, I think SEBI hasn't relented on it, because what the government was saying that why can't they do the OFS on a Saturday or so?
Correct. Yes.
I think what SEBI has said that, you know, they're going to relax it to the extent that T+2 now will include the banking day instead of. So if the notification happens on a Friday, then you are effectively able to do the OFS on Monday morning, because you know, your Saturday will be accounted, and there is a banking which happens on Saturday.
So T-2 will include a banking day, but it does not fully sort of resolve the government's problem which they were having, which is challenges with pricing.
So you know what used to happen earlier was government used to announce it on a Thursday, then you had a Friday, and then it used to happen on a Monday or so. Now they can do it on a Friday evening, and they can start the book on basically Monday morning. So that allows the government you know, much more flexibility in terms of pricing, because whenever there was any announcement of OFS, there used to be a price hit on the PSU shares, and that would be reduced substantially because of this putting banking day in between within the T+2.
So you're suggesting that if PSU divestments were to take place, that it would be useful for the government to now sort of do T would be Monday, T-2 would be Friday. Correct, Sajid?
Yeah.